Hello out there, Heavy Monte here. Welcome to the Heavy Monte's podcast and my comedy show. Ladies and gentlemen, you know my favorite book, the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. You know, read it many times. I just want to talk about one thing he did in his life, the day he met with the king after America won the war. And Benjamin Franklin, the king came in and the king was mad. Had a, had a nasty look on his face. He was pissed off, you know what I'm saying? But he couldn't do nothing. Huh? He had this great navy, this great military, and he was beaten by these people, who called themselves Americans. And Benjamin Franklin, what he did, he told them just how he felt. But the king didn't say nothing. After Benjamin Franklin got stopped talking, he got up and walked out, turned his back on him. You see what I'm saying? Benjamin Franklin didn't care. I think he said to himself, I told this guy to kiss my ass, and he went out and partied. He liked to party. So, America, I'm saying to the American people today, that's what we need to say to Donald Trump. Not in using those words. We need to be more professional. We need to do it with our votes. We need to vote, and we need to not have Republican by our name. Because if you are a registered Republican, you're supporting the rapists. If you are a registered Republican, you are, supporting the misogynist, pervert. Somebody they say is a pedophile. Huh? That's right. You know, like I said, the judge said a rapist. I'm not saying it. Hmm? The judge said he's a rapist, that he raped a woman in a department store. Had to pay a bunch of money. Got sued in civil court. Our president, the convict, the man that a political party placed in front of the American people and said, this is a man of God. This is a man who is going to lead us to the promised land. But the promised land that the maggot Donald Trump is leading us to is the unemployment line. America. Taking people for granted. Saying to the people who voted for him, in the purple states and in the red states, the people who voted for him say you're losers and you're suckers. The veterans who, said veterans for Trump, you're losers and you're suckers. All of the poor people who placed their hearts and their money into Donald Trump, he said to them, you are losers and suckers. He said to the American people, the Democratic Party, which every American should be a member at this place and time. At this place and time, you cannot take any chances. You never, ever know what a tyrant might do. A tyrant will do anything to stay out of jail. A tyrant will do anything to keep the truth about them from coming out to the American people. But we don't need any more truth about Donald Trump tonight. We can see clearly who and what he is. A taco and a puppet. A weak man. A weak president. A weak president that would not defend Ukraine. A weak president that won't back up his friends and allies because he is in the pocket of Vladimir Putin. And anybody can see it. Huh? You know what I'm saying? He's holding up a photograph of him and Vladimir Putin like Vladimir Putin is his girlfriend. And it could be, you never know. You see what I'm saying? He said he has a history going back with Vladimir Putin. You know, his best friends was Jeffrey Epstein. And now they're saying, America, that Vladimir Putin got something on Donald Trump. If Vladimir Putin has something on Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin have something on the American people. Huh? And we need that maggot Republican Congress to stand up for the American people and say, we're going to expose Donald Trump because we all are in danger, huh? Of a man who keeps secrets in his bathroom, huh? We all are in danger, America, with a man whose best friend was a serial pedophile. Over 1,000 women, they say he traded America. Could have been one of our children. Could have been your grandchildren. It could have been one of you handmaidens out there, huh? Who support a criminal president, who supports somebody like that. Now in America, the Democratic Party, you need to get out and start talking about what you're going to do for the American people. Hmm? If Heavy Monty is going to come out here and put his behind on the line saying that the Democratic Party is the greatest party in the world, I want action. I want action. I do not want any more playing around with these freaking maggots. You cannot trust them. Even after you make a deal with them, they'll backslide on the deal. That's cool. A maggot to buy his children semi-automatic weapons, a war. And take Christmas cards, pictures with them. Tell them that the federal government is out to get them, which is a big freaking lie. Huh? But the federal government you got right now not to get your ass. You see what I'm saying? Because Heavy Monte told you very earlier, you will always have a government. What type of government you have? Huh? A democracy, if you can keep it. You see what I'm saying? Because first they came for the blacks, and they came for the Hispanics, and they came for you, huh? Because you might have red hair. You see what I'm saying? You might be poor, huh? You might have pissed one of Donald Trump's ancestors off and he remember that you were Irish, huh? And you know if you're a Jew, you're in damn trouble, huh? You see what I'm saying, America? We are one people. When one of us suffer, all of us suffer. Now, today, in this act, in Georgia, in the South, they went to a Hyundai, I understand, factory. They're building a factory and arrest 475 people. And the FBI agent came on TV today. I couldn't believe this shit. I was sitting there and I was silent. My eyes open wide. They arrested 475 people, but no charges have been made yet. Huh? No charges have been made yet. And Trump is taking people to court and the grand juries is saying, get the hell out of here. So Heavy Monte want to tell you something right about now. I was sitting with my wife. We were drinking some coffee, having a good time. I'm getting close to getting my teeth, my implants are healing. I'll be happy. I know y'all be happy too, watching a no-teeth man. But we were sitting there in America, just watching this FBI agent just lie, in my opinion. You arrest 475 people, huh? South Koreans, I understand. Arrest them, in their own factory. And he was saying, well, they have subcontractors, we got to figure out, if anybody did anything. And then he come up with a big lie. They just lied. He said, well, the people who hire these doggone immigrants, we're going to hold them accountable. Well, pass a damn bill then. Okay? So you get 5 years in freaking jail if you hire an immigrant. I bet you those people will say, hell no. They'll be saying, we need these people. You understand? You need to come up with a system for these people, huh? America, we are an humane nation. Just because somebody is dark don't mean they shouldn't get the same rights as a white settler, huh? A white settler, he got in his wagon, got a stake, and they had a race. The first person who got to the land got the freaking land, and they stole the freaking land from the damn Indians. You see? Or from the Spanish people. Nobody is illegal on stolen land. You see? No one. A great Indian chief said, Sitting Bill, how in the hell can you own the wind? You see what I'm saying? He's saying, how can you own a piece of land? You don't own nothing. You're going to die. Somebody else will be living in your house. Huh? When you're gone, you only got a little bit of time on earth. So, but you have your reputation. Is your reputation somebody who supports the Republican Party and what they're doing to this great nation and separating us because of race and testing the shit out on the black folks? You know what I'm saying? Now, right now, Donald Trump is only invading cities with black mayors. But we're cool. You see, this Jim Crow shit down. We've been to this stuff before. Huh? You know, we just roll with it. Huh? And we get better and better and better as a people. Huh? If you're black. Better and better and better as a people. If somebody say you're woke and you're white, huh? You get better every day. You don't care. Huh? Because you who you are. Huh? A Democrat. That's right. And be proud of it. Huh? You can be proud to be a Democrat in America today. When somebody asks you about the Democratic Party, you say, I'm proud. Because the Democratic Party is going to kick ass when we take over. Do you know the immense power that that maggot court has given the President of the United States? And a president who's looking out for the people can solve the problems of the nation backed up by a beautiful blue, get a little choked up here. A blue House and Senate. Huh? That's what we need, America. Huh? And we'll checkmate that pig. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you what, I'm gonna close right now. But I tell you what, I'm not a doctor, but I'm gonna play one right here on my YouTube channel. Donald Trump is bad. You know what I'm saying? And Donald Trump can run a game two ways. Donald Trump can say, okay, if I get real sick, and and the liberals can say it like me, yeah, he's sick. You know, he can say, oh, I can't face prosecution. I don't remember shit. You see what I'm trying to say, America? Donald Trump is the Teflon Don. You know, I don't think he could go to jail. I think the people around him are going to go to jail because those people had an ideology. An ideology. Some they say of Christianity. Maggot Christianity. And they just freaks, and they went and backed this pig. You know what I'm saying? All right, America. This is Heavy Monte for the Heavy Monte podcast and the Heavy Monte Comedy Show. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and never, ever vote for a Republican.